Yep. We live. Yes, we are, man. I'm gonna get right into it, man, because I ain't playing no games. It's your boy King Moses, live from the porch, man. And I got a lot to say about this HBCU stuff, man, and this Ed Reed stuff. I finally got out of Facebook jail, so I was able to post and talk about it or whatever, get some people in tune with what I had to say, whatever, my thoughts, man. But man, I listen, man, before I even go into the whole diatribe, I am an HBCU graduate. Obviously, I went to Morgan State, graduated. Um, I am a lifetime member with the alumni. I've, donated and all that stuff, and finally in a situation where I feel comfortable enough where I can, give back a little bit, and not only just money, but like I want to see young kids, get an opportunity, whatever, and show them options because, I had a little bit of that when I was at school, but not too much. And I don't be joking when I say I pray for these kids. I care for the kids or whatever. I do a lot because I was one of those kids where like I could have used a little bit more help, guidance, or whatever, to figure out where I was going. So it took me a little bit longer to get there, but I made it work or whatever. So I just want to provide that information back. I think any person should be able to do that. Like if you're in a position where, you got some knowledge to give back, or you can help out, you do that. Not just giving money, whatever. Obviously money is important or whatever when you can, but if you can't, try to help out. You know what I'm saying? Um so when you hear some of these people whatever on this Twitter and Facebook talking all this stuff about, well, how can you complain about Deion leaving these bad facilities because the alumni don't get back? Do you get back, da da da, and all that or whatever? Half of them don't either. They just talking to be talking. And also too, like some of them don't even know the whole backstory, whatever. You just look at the surface and just be like, okay, well, this is what I got to say, not listening to the other side. Most of y'all ain't even finished school. You know what I'm saying? So um I don't believe in the whole, well, if you ain't doing it you can't talk stuff or whatever. Like, even if I'm not giving money, but you are raising awareness and doing all that or whatever, I think you have a right to an opinion or whatever. You know what I mean? But hold on. Sorry about that, goddamn dumbass. All right, my bad. So yeah, like I'm not like into the whole like, okay, well, if you ain't did this or whatever, you can't say whatever. But I feel everybody has a right to opinion. But as long as you are willing to listen or whatever, and be flexible or try to see the other side, I'm all for that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I care about the kids and trying to improve for them and give them a better path so they don't have to just figure shit out, whatever, because that's just the dumbest shit in the world, whatever. Like that's not sustainable. um but yeah, and then with the the whole shit about, yeah, well, prime this or whatever. I keep on saying or whatever. Like, that Joker was trying to bust a move or whatever. Much love to him. He did put light onto the HBCUs or whatever, especially on the sports aspect of it or whatever. But it's going to take a lot for that to continue, whatever. And I think what he did was just for himself and not the bigger cause, which is fine. But don't say that that's what you're there for, and that's not what you're there for. So now you got Ed Reed, right? So Ed Reed went to Bethune Cookman, and he had made the announcement that he was going to be the head coach and keeping it up or whatever. So now you're starting to see a trend of former football players, big name football players, going back to the HBCUs to coach. I know Eddie George is doing it in Tennessee State. Hugh Jackson is doing it in Grambling. So I hope that it does continue where former football players do. I could also say that it could be a situation where some of these these former players aren't getting the coaching opportunities at the predominantly white institutions that they went to, um, or something like that. I could say that it could be the case, but also I also think that some do want to make a difference or whatever, and at least get their foot in the door or whatever to maybe get there. And that might be the way to do it through the HBCU route. That is totally fine. We all got to start somewhere, whatever, because at the end of the day, HBCUs are not known on a wide scale for its sports. And we all know that the main big income driver for these HBCUs is sports. That's why we behind the eight ball or whatever. Even it could be a small white school, they still got to step up above us or whatever, just because it's more invested in the sports. And that's just my opinion and what I see. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that like these schools or whatever that's at their cities that they don't care about the education. They just like the sports team or root for the sports team. You get what I'm saying? Dr. Dre probably gave a whole bunch of money to USC just because of the football team. And they have it built up over years where they promoted themselves and put money into their sports to be able to get a return on investment or get notoriety, whatever, based off of that. HBCUs have not. So they are definitely going to have to put more into the sports to catch up or whatever and to gain more. It can't just be on the alumni to just get back just because you went there. Like that just is not enough. Um, but it's good to see it or whatever. But just look at the reasoning why probably some of these former NFL players are going to HBCUs because half of them probably aren't wanted. Some of them probably don't have a college degree where they help. It's a lot of factors to it other than just like they just want to give back to the community and help all this or whatever. I'm sure that's a part of it, but that might not be the main thing. All right. So Ed Reed is now in Bethune Cookman. He makes the announcement of it, right? But then you also see him go live on IG, whatever, riding on like whatever that shit is that they mow the lawn or whatever, the little cart. And he's showing the school and like the trash and the facilities or whatever. He said that his office wasn't cleaned up or whatever and ready for him, blah, 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 all this shit. So then, everybody's going crazy. Then he's like, Deion was right, blah, 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 but like he just wants to get things fixed, which I totally understand or whatever. And I understand that, like, for Ed Reed, honestly, I think it's more or less like he is passionate about it, but he just going about it the wrong way and just like not focused or he's being too emotional. But I don't think it's a show, and I think that it's coming from a good place. So he's showing all that or whatever, and then like later on, I guess they tried to work it out or whatever. Him in the school, and then they said that he put out another announcement on Instagram saying that they're not going to rectify his contract and agree to some of the terms and blah blah blah, and like he's not resigning, but he's not going to be the coach at BCU. And then he goes on IG Live and then does all this stuff, whatever, and then had Prime on there saying this and that or whatever. Then now he's doing the interviews going on and off or whatever about a lot of stuff. So my opinion and my thing was, okay, why are you complaining on IG Live, whatever? If you have a complaint, you should go directly to the school and then You knew about this before you got there, so why are you complaining about it now? Nobody forced you to take the job. So if the facilities weren't up to par or anything like that, you should have vetted that and you should have been able to look at that information before you signed anything. And it appears that nothing was fully signed. So you're up there doing a lot of stuff or whatever before even signed contract or an agreement took place or whatever that you're officially there. So you even the fact of announcing that you were going to be the head coach and like posing in the wear and the gear and all that stuff or whatever, which is fine or whatever, but nothing was fully signed and agreed upon. So the fact alone that you went and agreed to coach at a location that you didn't fully look at the facilities and the location for yourself and agree to is crazy. And again, like I said before, that's like buying a house unseen. You can't just say, "Oh, I want this house. I'm going to buy it, or I'm going to agree to buy it, or whatever," and tell people you're going to buy this house. And then when you get there, you go on live saying that this house is crap and da da da, and they need to fix this. This wasn't even ready, blah blah blah, and then expect the realtor to like fix it or like, oh, these got to fix. Like that should have been done beforehand. You didn't have to go on live or whatever. And again, you didn't even have to have there had to be an agreement of some sort or whatever. Don't make the agreement if you're not ready to sign up for it. You can post up on IG live and say this is crap or whatever, and they wasted my time or whatever, but like you made the agreement that you were going to be there or you were going to do it or whatever. So if you know this place got some work to do, whatever, then that should be your main focus on like, all right, this needs to be done. How can I get this done? Not trashing the place or whatever. You're not even fully there or officially there, but you're making it seem like you're there, whatever, and just like, yeah, they just surprised me or whatever. Like you should have known that beforehand. That's on you. Now, also it's on the school because I don't know what has been going on or whatever, but if you're trying to get a big name to try to raise some awareness or get like better athletes to improve your school, whatever, you need to redirect your focus and energy on making sure everything is right as possible. So if it's a situation where you're trying to lure a big name person or whatever, you need to find out what do you need to get everything right to make stuff done or whatever. So we won't have an issue about the facilities or the whatever after the case. You should be taking care of that beforehand and working with them to do fundraisers, do whatever the case may be, whatever. Get some advocates to get some more money. Apparently, what they said was Edgerrin James and Shaq had all these investors ready and on deck to put this money up. I don't know why they still haven't been able to do it because, like, if he's not going to be there, like, if it's all about the facility and the school and the kids, why are you not still donating anyway? But that should have been worked out prior to. And like, okay, this is where we're at now, but let's figure out something, together, whatever, and make it good. But it's just some bullshit or whatever that like I don't know. People just take it and run with it and just be like, "Oh, Deion was right." So then now it's just like, "Well, look at the poor black schools or whatever. You don't need to go there, whatever, because they don't want to take care of their own. Then and people don't want to give back or whatever. So why even care, whatever? Go to the white school, which is what they want you to think anyway, whatever. And if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. But then we just gonna forget about all the stuff that was going on with the Black Lives Matter and all this shit y'all was saying or whatever about equality and all this and all that or whatever. There, it starts at a point. So if y'all trying to make this effort or whatever, like the shit's not gonna happen overnight or whatever, and it's gonna take a lot more than what y'all been doing or whatever to fix it overnight. So that's one. But two, um, yeah, like this ain't the only Jackson State ain't the only facility, the only HBC. I think all the HBCUs have some issues. No matter how much money, you can go look at Howard, the one that get the most money. Everybody come down for Howard homecoming. You got your beloved Vice President Kamala Harris or whatever the fuck her name is, whatever that Gypsy Jezebel's name is. She's an alumni. She lives in this. She's at the White House. She knows what the fuck is going on. or if she don't know whatever, she's seen what's going on. She should be making sure she knows what's going on. She should be one of the biggest donors, and who knows how much they're getting. But nobody is looking at, look, hey, this is all the money that we're getting in. This money should be going towards the facilities. It was just 2 years ago, the kids was up there protesting about the goddamn dorms looking all crazy and shit. How soon we forget about that? And they one of the biggest money makers of all. So it ain't just like the ones that don't get the funding. It's the ones that do get the funding or whatever and get the alumni giving money back or whatever. But it be some fucked up people, whatever, that work in these administrations or whatever, that be scamming and scheming or whatever, and not doing what they supposed to do. So it goes both ways. So you can't just be like, oh, well, y'all ain't giving the money. Well, there are people that are giving money in other places, whatever, and it's still messed up. And that's just learned behavior from the other alumni, because like when we were there, whatever, like everybody was just for themselves. There's no black unity or whatever. Everybody's just for themselves. So it was a lot of shit that we had to do on our own that wasn't a situation where the school helped us get by or whatever. Like even the situation just to make sure that we have right facilities, like should be like a main priority. They not worried about that. They just like, okay, well, make it work. So as soon as a motherfucker make it work, graduate from school, still have to worry about debt and finding a job and being able to take care of yourself. And there's no real plan of, hey, this is what you do to take care of yourself and also give back monetarily or time wise or whatever. So you got people that probably, I graduated in 07. I just got comfortable to be able to be like, okay, let me try to do something or whatever besides like, my time or whatever, just monetarily, maybe about 3-4 years ago. I'm still paying my college shit or whatever. I got 2 years left with the Fed loan or whatever. But then you got people that probably owe way more money than me, whatever, that is in a lot of debt or whatever. And then you up there talking about, oh, get back or whatever. And we still worried about trying to pay our college loans back. That's going to take 10, 20 years to pay. But you talking about, oh, you don't get back. A lot of y'all are talking about that don't have college loans or whatever and have to deal with all other shit that's going on. And they ain't worried about, they ain't telling you all that while you in school. The main thing is they sell you the dream of, oh, get your college degree, whatever, and then you'll find a job and just figure it out. So, yeah, like a lot of people ain't willing to be like, oh, let me go get back or whatever, because nobody really gave them that much when we were in school or told them how to give back, or we don't see it. Nobody did, I start seeing a lot of shit after the fact that we graduated or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, the money started pouring in or whatever at some point or whatever. So it's getting a little bit better and it's good to see. But like, we didn't see that when we were in school. So it's like, all right, well, it's hard to kind of be like, all right, well, let's give this money. You know what I mean? And then, especially if the same people were there, whatever, where they've been scamming and just like, probably taking that money and using it to do whatever the shit and not doing it for the right reasons or using it for the right stuff. Nobody really sees where that money goes. Nobody's holding the people accountable, whatever, either. So, I mean, that's just crazy, whatever, but it's bigger than just the whole, just give back. Y'all get off your ass and give more, whatever. Like, the same kids that was up there protesting in Howard or whatever, where was their parents at? You ain't hear nothing from them or whatever. Y'all barely go to y'all PTA meetings or whatever for your goddamn kids in school as is right now. You ain't worried about their college education and all that or whatever. You're like, oh, well, they out my house or whatever. They're going to figure it out. That's the adult way. But then you'd be like, oh, well, these HBCUs is all messed up or whatever. Get back. The hell you doing? But you'll be quick to go to them University of Maryland games or Georgetown games or put some money in for that Final Four or whatever in them brackets and shit. And it ain't going to really start booming or whatever on the HBCU side until they start investing in some some athletics. And then when they start getting some press, and then that's when you'll have people like, oh, I'm proud to be from an HBCU. I'm proud to have somebody that was there, or I want to go and send my all that or whatever. That's what's going to happen. So that's what needs to happen. They need to focus on funding the athletics and getting their name out there, whatever. And as soon as when you see one of them superstars or whatever come from there, whatever, then that's when you'll start seeing the people really start taking it seriously, whatever, and more money being poured in and the athletics being better. So then you won't have situations where you have the Ed Reeds or the Deions saying the facilities is all messed up and blase blah and whoopty whoop. That's just my opinion, whatever. But Ed Reed has a responsibility. He needs to be held accountable. Bethune-Cookman needs to be held responsible. A lot of HBCUs need to be held accountable. Everybody needs to be held accountable. It ain't just no situation where it's just like, oh, well, it's just one person or whatever. It's a collective. And until y'all realize that, that's where we're going to be at, still dysfunctional and still the same old shit, just keep going on and on. But what the fuck do I know? I'm not an expert, but that's just my opinion, and I'm just giving it. So it's your boy King Moses, live from the porch. Y'all like, share, subscribe, and all that other bullshit or whatever. Let me know what y'all think about in the comments. If I'm right, wrong, tripping, way off, whatever the fuck. I'm out.